Hello, and welcome to This Week in Bronze, the channel where we make stupid jokes and lose viewers by the week. Sorry for the late upload, but for once I had things in my life that were more important than League. Weird, right? But have no fear. I'm still here for you guys, and my life has regained its usual focus on the game. A game. It sounds sad when you say it out loud. Anyway, like the title suggests, we are going to be talking about snakes and the way that they attack. In particular, we're going to be talking about my favorite snake lady, Cassiopeia, the Queen Cobra. I don't know if that's actually her subname. It just seems like it could be, right? I mean, even though she's actually based on Medusa, not snakes. Anyway, diving right in, I'm going to tell you about why snakes are the most effective down here in the Bronze Age of League. Get it? Because Bronze Age was popularized by Greece? Medusa? Keep up and we'll be fine. Actually, that was a little bit of a stretch, but mostly because it was wrong. The Bronze Age wasn't actually popularized by Greece, but now I'm just teaching history and ignoring League. Here we go. Alright, so since Cassiopeia is a snake lady and snakes come from eggs, it's important in early game to remind her where she came from by picking up the item that most looks like an egg. You know, make her feel comfortable. Next, we see the Lucky Charms leprechaun, and as everyone knows, it's of vital importance, so as to start off well, to gain possession of said Lucky Charms. They're magically delicious, and you're not fooling anyone, General Mills, besides the delightful marshmallows as we know. It's just weird-shaped Cheerios. As kids, we all knew this, and since we were young and barely knew what a heart was, not to mention how to keep it healthy, we just ate the marshmallows. Because as kids, we were all pretty much just Wall Street stockbrokers and needed our morning rush of the sugar. But you know, the Wall Street brokers are older, so they obviously get their rush from cocaine. Sweet, luscious cocaine. Anyway, an important part of playing Snake in League is to hide in the jungle and wait for your prey. Then you pounce on them. But that's boring and this is bronze. I say that every episode as if the title wasn't enough to tip you off, but since this is bronze, we're more like that snake that ventures out into the middle of the road. Unless you're in a car, we'll bite your goddamn finger off and get a double kill. Why didn't I die in this clip? Because you bloodthirsty heathens don't need 10 minutes of me making mistakes. It's only amusing in moderation, and if you don't listen to the moderation talk, you're just gonna end up like me. Fat, no girlfriend, and playing a video game to bring a small bit of joy into your life. I'm saving you in the long run. Just remember that. Oh, I can't say no to that face I can't even see. Okay, here's roams that make me look like a snake on the road that the car ran over 3 days ago, and now it's starting to stink, but you don't know if it's completely that snake or mostly the swamp bog thing that's less than 15 feet from the road. So you wonder, take a step closer and realize, yep, it definitely was the snake. And now you kind of want to vomit. But you can't actually because you really haven't eaten anything because it's the summer and you don't really have anything to do because you're not in school anymore. You just woke up, it's noon, and you haven't eaten anything. See, that one was both unrelatable and not funny. And you guys still have months of this coming your way. Who knows, if I like it, maybe even years. Lucky you. Alright, so a big reason that I like to play Cassiopeia in Bronze is because you can just go for farm and play safe and don't really get behind. Then when it gets to mid-game, you just all of a sudden do a shit ton of damage because you have so much gold you can shit on your elo and make it your bitch. Cast for Mid 2017. It's 2017, and since Trump can already begin campaigning again, so can Cass. Much like Trump, instead of getting used to our victory and doing something with our newfound position, we just keep trying to go for more wins, because that's what makes us feel good. And for reasons that I can't tell you guys yet, I'm not allowed to talk bad about our newly elected president. So just take that as an observation of the current administration, and let's just all assume that, like everyone else in Bronze, I adore it. So I'm not really trash talking at all. I'm just comparing him to bronze. We're here and just kind of dealing, even though we know we could be in silver, maybe someday gold. We're just hoping for that day. Really wishing it could come. Just waiting. An important part to playing Cass, much like split pushing because you're able to clear like a motherfucker. I do a lot of swearing on this channel, and for some reason I feel like motherfucker is pushing it. I don't know. Anyway, you clear waves really fast, and so you can use that effect to really affect the map. And even though when I say that, if you're truly in bronze, you either don't know what I mean or say you do and actually really don't. Either way, it's a good thing, so don't start a fight for like 1 minute and let me do it, which is a segue. A long one, and I think you've all forgotten now what I'm segueing into. Team fights. Yep. Team fights. They're important. So, in my kind of helpful, mostly dumb, sometimes funny, but mostly not sort of way, here's some stuff to make sure you can get a snake bite in and make sure you do better when you see Cass in LCS and then decide to play her. Now that I've segued into team fights, we're going to talk about what you would exactly expect, because that's how segues work. Time to talk about the laning phase and trading with Cassiopeia. Because I'm lazy, and I wrote the laning and the trading and the useful, and it's semi-useful. I mean, you actually learn something, kind of. So I wrote that, but then I didn't want to ignore the last paragraph or get rid of it, so I just decided to keep it, and yeah. Now it's a long time to describe. I just said team fights, but we're gonna learn about laning phase and trading, and then we'll get into team fights. See, we'll do it. I got you. We'll get there. Just take it with me, a step at a time. Alright, so first off, I've taken some time playing Cass, and I don't claim that you'll win if you listen to me. As a matter of fact, you're listening to me, the guy whose whole channel is about me being so bad at this game despite spending most of my time playing it. So chances are you're probably actually going to lose. That being said, I'd recommend that you start your queue. Now, that took me so many games to come to grips with. Believe me, you're not going to win any level 1 trades. It doesn't do a whole lot of damage, but it does help your level 2. Because if you're one of those aggressive types, you're going to take your E and then try to get the extra damage off after you queue. And I did forget to say this, but when you hit your Q on a champion, you actually get a small and short movement speed buff, which not only helps your level 2 trades, but helps give you that edge in those early trades too. Surely you're not going to put out a ton of damage, but you are going to do enough. And I know I'm asking a lot of you here in bronze, but you also need to dodge attacks and skill shots with that extra movement speed that you do have with your Q. And it's actually going to really help your laning phase. Now you're wondering, Trombone, why in the hell are you ignoring Cassiopeia's other 2 abilities? And before I get in a fight with the imaginary voice that I made up for your head, even though it's probably not even there, let me expand. Your W has a really long cooldown, and now that's comparative to your Q and your E. So while you're making your small trades using those 2 abilities, if you actually want to go in for a big trade, go in for the kill if you are a little more aggressive than I am, the cooldown on your W is what you're going to want to base those trades off of. So now how that trade is going to go is you're going to want to make sure that they're low on mana or just burnt all of their spells on you. Make sure you have enough health where you think a trade would be good. And now you're thinking, great, the Bronzy is just trying to teach me common sense. And now I'm going to actually argue with that voice in your head by saying, no, I just know that there are those of you who are out there who just survived a questionable trade that you're really low on health, but follows the other guidelines that I set out there. So you're at like 20% health, decide to go in, and then decide to blame your death on a subpar YouTuber who is bronze and bad at League, video editing, and anything that's supposed to look comedic. So, yeah, that's why. Anyway, I'm getting away from myself again, so make sure you can make a good trade. That whole speech summarized in make sure you can make a good trade. So when you decide you can make that good trade, lead with your W. Put it behind the enemy, and because they're in bronze, they see this and want to run away. And they usually do it right into your W, which does poison damage on its own and slows them. So while they're slowed, hit them with your Q, which does more poison damage, and then hit them with an E. That hits as long as you're in range, which is really nice because it doesn't take much skill, and does bonus damage because you hit them with your Q. And now you're like, missing the ult. And you say it so condescendingly, but I think I do a good enough job getting down on myself here on my own. Granted, everyone needs help sometimes, but no need to feel obligated, internet trolls. This answer to your question is just put your ult at the beginning. Managed to get an extra QE combo off, and even though that I said that's the laning phase earlier, now it's the end, and that's kind of how the laning phase. I mean, I covered roaming earlier. Granted, it's out of place and taught nothing, but pair them, and that's an earlier diminish game for you, and that's how you play Cassiopeia. Alright, now that I've explained abilities and kind of how to trade, how you want to trade, we can finally actually talk about how you're going to want a team fight. But, I'm really bad at team fights, so I can't teach you on that, and I still haven't exactly heard enough to teach what I've heard before, so the best I can do is to show you this montage of my ass dying or getting other people killed, just otherwise totally messing up. And since hindsight is 2020, maybe me commenting on my being terrible will hopefully teach you something by deduction. but you barely watch a 10-minute video and we're already almost at that mark. But I think if you make decent enough content, people will stay for it. Acknowledging my content sucks, but also acknowledging that I want to do this montage so bad. I'll try and keep it short for you. We'll all get home by dinner. Here. Alright, so you see here we're under tower. Things are already pretty desperate because, and then you die. You know, that's just how it works. And then the team fights over because you died, so nothing ever happens. Next clip, you see we got a good team. We're pursuing. Cho'Gath comes up. We're gonna try to follow up on that a little bit. And so yeah, we go on the Caitlyn because she does damage, because that's important. And then just try to duel them, 2v2. And then Karma and Amumu come in, and then everything breaks down. And where the hell did the other 3 people on our team go? They're not there. So then you die and that fight's over. This one's not really a team fight. It's just kind of 2 people fighting 2 other people. And then you see I retreat. See, that's a good thing. That's the smart thing to do here. And then you see the very bronze me going back for another one, hopefully picking up some of that honey fruit, and then realizing Nidalee's a little bitch, stealing it all. And then Cho'Gath is here, so we think we can work something out. And then Caitlyn kills us because she does more damage than we give her credit for. Here, things are actually going pretty well for us. You know, we got a lot of people, and then you see someone just run away into the jungle because that's what this team does. We have a good engage, and then people run away. You see me test my ult. That's on cooldown. That's pretty odd. I'm watching that, and I still don't know what that's all about. Then I walk back in the lane too close to Caitlyn, like I didn't learn my lesson, and then I eventually get Sona killed. Yeah, that was pretty dumb. But I'm still alive, so it's all good. So that's what matters, you know, is I'm still living, and the towers are still up, so it counts, and then we stay too long and get ulted. All in all, play Cassiopeia in team fights and you lose. That's my synopsis. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching. Again, I do apologize for the late upload. Ended up being a little later even than I thought when I started this, so sorry about that. You should expect to see them, you know, either weekly or bi-weekly. I kind of like this bi-weekly week off. It allows me to do other things. I know it's crazy, I do other things, but it allows me to do that. Regardless, I'm still gonna be making these videos. Some people like them, so we're gonna keep it here for you guys. Thanks so much, and like and subscribe if you liked it. If this is your first time, I don't know how to explain this channel to you. I just hope you liked it. Thank you guys so much, and see you next week.